Starting IRL. Glad you could join me. And if anybody's in, I'll give everybody just a few seconds to jump in. But if you are in and you can hear and see everything okay, if you could please hit the like button for me, I'd really appreciate it. That would be fantastic as I log into the comment section. Always takes a second to do that. That way I can get all the volumes right and everything else as I have to do. There we go. Oh, there we go. Somebody's hit the like button, so they must be able to hear and see me all right. Appreciate you, appreciate you. Like I said, just getting in here to the chat. Ronald Coward, what's up, buddy? Thank you so much. Appreciate you letting me know. There we go. And we are in. Plus, I've been watching, I don't know if anybody else has been doing it. Patsy, what's going on? Good to see you. I don't know if anybody else has been watching, but man, for the past week, I've been stuck on that Three-Eye Atlas comet. I've just been mesmerized by it. I've been sitting here watching it for days on end. I was watching that. So when I went to go break into the chat, I had to clear out my Three-Eye Atlas coverage that I've been checking out. But yeah, I'm glad everybody's here. Back this up just a little bit, maybe get a better look-see of that. But yeah, that's what we'll be using tonight, man. I'm really stoked. I don't break that out very often. The Wagner chicken fryer. William Herb, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. But yeah, we'll be breaking out the Wagner hammer chicken fryer. Give everybody kind of a good look at this. Get to check it out. But yeah, this is an heirloom piece passed down to me. Actually had sat dormant for decades and decades and was found in the back. My mom found it in the back of a closet, and it had not been used in forever. Greg Hart, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Everybody's starting to roll in. But yeah, it sat in the back in a closet, and my mom didn't even know it was. I don't think she knew it was there. And it was buried in there, and it was in, like, if you can check it out, I mean, it's in like unused condition. I literally don't know how many decades that this sat in that box. It had some surface rust on the top. The inside looks pretty much like it does right here. It still has like all the, I don't know if you can see the kind of the mill marks to the inside. There's like maybe just a couple utensil marks on the inside at the most. But it is Wagner, and one of the ways you can tell the Wagner is the sawtooth drip drop basters. That's pretty much the standard look for at that time period. Is that a 9? No, it is a number 8. It's a 10. It's 10 and a half. I wish it was a 9. It'd be worth about $100 more. But yeah. Anyway, but yeah, these drip drops. That's how you can tell it. You know, if you were to find, I've never seen a Griswold hammered unmarked before, but all their lids, they had like the bullseye style on the inside. They were just round straight from what I've ever seen. You know, Wagner had the different ones. They had like I don't know, I always called them the Batman ones, or the sort of the lightning bolt ones that kind of went up and down, you know, like when Batman, the old Batmans, where it would go pow and it would do that thing. Rockstar, what's up? And all that, but that's how you could tell that. And then because the handles on Wagner's and Griswold's were fairly similar, other than, you know, some had the round circles and stuff like that. But this is definitely a Wagner, and this is definitely a set that's never been broken up. I mean, whoever bought this, when this was purchased new. It sits flat as a board, which is kind of, Wagner gets a bad rap for being a little bit wobbly, but this This is flatter than it actually sits flatter than my cutting board does. Old man with the pen, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Yeah, the old sawtooth drip drops. Yeah, 100%. But yeah, all the other ones you're talking about. Yeah, 100%. But yeah, and they made these about, from what I've the minimal amount of research I did on it, they made these from about 1935 to 1950. I think some other makers did some other hammered ones before that. I know that the Chicago Hardware Foundry, they did a lot of these after the fact. Like that was still fairly early. I mean, late 30s is when they got everything from Pickle Favorite Wear. But it's just an absolutely beautiful piece. I mean, it's just completely unblemished. And I was really happy tonight to have reason to break it out. And I mean, if you guys can get a really good look at that. And the pattern of it. All the hammered patterns were a little different. Some of the divots were a little bigger. And these are sort of like the cheetah style, I guess. Leopard style. And not as uniformed. But they're really pretty pans. And I was really lucky that this sort of fell into my lap. Yankee, what's going on? How are you? Rick Stumball, how are you? Good to see you guys. Rocket Caver. Is Rocket Caver in here? I see somebody saying hi to him. If you are Rocket Caver, thank you so much for stopping by for dinner tonight. And yeah, and one thing I will point out before I move this out of the way and we get started with everything, I thought that I had a top sirloin roast in my freezer. I actually had a sirloin tip, and we'll go over the differences in that. So I won't be cutting it up because I had to cut it because it's a different cut of meat. I went ahead and I cut it up, and I'll show you that here in just a second. But we're going to bring this off to the side, and I'm going to get that onto the stove warming up onto the side burner. And I'm actually not going to use this lid. I'm going to use the I actually want to see if my glass lid fit. My Wagner number 8 glass lid fit on top of that. And let's check it out. No, it doesn't. So we are using that lid. Never mind. The other lid's too big. So we will be using this. But anyway, I'll bring this over here. That's pretty much what we're going to be using though for the night. But with the meat, I'll go over that real quick. I had to go ahead and cut this up, and I had to tenderize it because top sirloin is on the top of the beef, right below, if I remember right below the tenderloin and all that, right along the back, but down a little bit farther. The sirloin tip is a leg muscle, so with being a leg muscle, it's a lot tougher. So since I didn't have what I thought I had, I went ahead and I velveted this. Now I basically did it like you would do Chinese food, like how they velvet their chicken and all that other stuff. And what I did was I took about a tablespoon and a half of avocado oil and a little bit of baking soda, and I sprinkled on the top. What I usually do when I velvet is I put a little bit of oil on the bottom, then I sprinkle a little bit of baking soda and a little bit of cream of tartar on there on the bottom, and then I flip it. I put the meat in. I do the same thing to the top, put a little bit of the cream of tartar on top of it, and then a little bit of baking soda on top, and then I sort of massage it together. I put this together at about 2 o'clock this afternoon, so this should be really good and tender. Because if not, if you're going to use a sirloin tip or any kind of like the round, any of those kind of pieces, you're not going to be able to cook it the same way as you would the, like if you used a New York strip to do this, or filet mignon to do this, or one of the better cuts. So, because what you want to do with the better cuts is you just want to slice it really thin, preferably while it's still semi-frozen, so you can get some decent uniform strips. And then, I'm going to say it, and then sort of cook it at high heat for about a minute on each side till there's no more red in there. And you want to do it really quick. If I did that with this, it would just be shoe leather. So, let's see. Are those dates? Smuko 63. Yes, these are dates. They're 100% dates. I'm gonna keep it real. What's going on? Bearded Badger or Bodger from the UK. Hello, how are you? Yeah, I'm gonna keep it real here. That's very cool. Are those dates? Yeah, these are dates. We're getting ready to pickle some date. We're gonna turn these into jam. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, that's what we're doing with this. I'm letting the skillet heat up a little bit, and I'll show you guys the recipe. But I've got this recipe written down. It's kind of an older recipe, and I wrote this for my kids, so it's going to be pretty hard to read for the common person, or for people that don't know how to write for my kids' recipes, because I do them. I put the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however many steps, and then how long I do it. And so this is definitely an older recipe. But what we'll be using is 1 pound of beef, velvet if needed, a tablespoon of oil, 2 tablespoons oil, 2 tablespoons of butter, preferably unsalted, but I don't know what's on the dish, so I'm just winging that. Half of a diced onion, a ½ pound of mushrooms, or 2 4-ounce cans like we have here in the back. Can you guys see those? Yeah. 1 clove of garlic, tablespoon of flour, 1 cup beef broth, 3/4 cup of I'm using whole milk because I'm using dairy milk, and my milk that I get from the dairy is really thick and really creamy. And I just went out to the dairy today to get more milk. That stuff is so good. I'm hoping that it's not too sweet, because the milk I get from the dairy almost tastes like cereal milk, because it's all grass fed. And then let me see. So then we got 1 cup of beef broth. Yeah, I already did. Yeah, a cup of beef broth, the whole milk, 1/4 cup sour cream that we're actually going to temper. I'll show you how I temper that. And then tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce and a tablespoon of mustard. Now, preferably Dijon mustard, but I don't have Dijon mustard, and I'm not going out to get it. I wasn't going to drive an hour to go get Dijon mustard. And 8 ounces of egg noodles, which is exactly what I have right there. 8 ounces of egg noodles. You can up to 12 in this recipe, and that does work too. Let's see, check this out here. Florida in the house. Oh, cool, Florida, very cool. I got a couple sisters live in Florida. Smoky Bears, what's going on, buddy? How are you? Good to see you. But yeah, so anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. I do have, like I said, I'm letting that heat up. I kind of baby this pan, so I heat it up really slow. Because when you have, if it was a Wagner that had the warps in it, I would heat it up quicker, but I'm kind of babying this one. So it's sort of sitting over there, just getting kind of warmed up. But yeah, so I know this is kind of a long intro, but I just kind of wanted to let you guys know how I was doing this. Because there is I had to go outside the box. And you can use, you can definitely use cheaper cuts of meat to make beef stroganoff, but preferably if you have it laying around, definitely use the better stuff. But if not, man, $5.99 a pound for this is what I paid for it, so that ain't bad for beef right now. DK, what's going on? Good to see you. Why would you cook this? Look, it's so red and tasty. I know, right? It is pretty tasty looking. But it's kind of, I don't know. By the time we get done, you'll be glad I did. I know I will be, because this is like, I had breakfast today, and that's it. I did have a bagel this afternoon, so I can't complain too much. But yeah, let's see. Maybe they have Dijon and stuff, but they might have. I didn't think about that. It's funny. I just, now the kids have moved out like a couple months ago, and everything. I go to the store, man. I used to go to the store 3-4 times a week, and now I never go. I live out of the freezer. I don't know. And plus, I'm like kind of dwindling that stuff down from when they were here to like restock. So I haven't restocked like all the condiments. I have like full things of like 2 things of ranch dressing in my refrigerator, and I hate ranch dressing. I'm gonna end up throwing it away. You had a bagel or a beagle? Big difference, Mr. Beck. Yeah, I had a bagel. I'm not allowed to eat the beagle. I don't know where the beagle is. The beagle had kind of a kind of a big. I took her outside and there was a huge cottontail rabbit in the backyard, and so she was pretty intrigued. I let her go kind of track that thing down. But anyway, let's go over here. I think that's getting ready to go. We'll come over here, we'll get that started. We're gonna throw that on there for about 5 minutes, for just a couple minutes, and then we'll take it off and we'll put it in a bowl. Actually, I need to get a bowl out to put that in, because we'll pull that off and then we're gonna cook the other stuff in that bowl actually. So let's see, make a little bit of room behind me. All right, let's get you guys over to here. Let's drag you over this way. There we go. Then we'll turn the heat up on that and get some oil into there. I don't need it going too high. The handle's not even hot yet. Give that a second before we let all the action get started. Before we get started with all that. Like I said, I know that's kind of a long-winded beginning, but usually I don't do that. I usually get started right in there, but there's a method to my madness tonight. There we go. There we go. Atta girl. Gotta warm her up a little bit. Let's see, make sure I got everything I'm gonna use. A bit of avocado oil in there. Throw that in there. I'd say that's about a tablespoon. Maybe just a little bit more up the top. Let that drizzle down. Chuck a piece in there. See how it looks. Yeah, that's good. That's pretty decent. Throw those in there. I haven't had beef stroganoff in a long time. But I'll be glad to have it today. There we go. Put that in there. There we go. And these are oiled too, so I mean they've been bathing in this oil like all day, so they should be pretty good shape. I don't have to have that much oil in there. I'm gonna let that first round get in there and do their thing. Wash my hand. There we go. Where's everybody coming in from tonight? Let's see. Listen to that sizzle. You're damn right. It is going. Archer, what's going on, buddy? Peppers or meat? These are this is some meat right now. Gene, what's going on? Some folks popping in. Jay Bizzle, what's up, buddy? I like that handle. That's all right. I can smell it in Arizona. It does smell good. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of sizzling meat. Let me grab reach across you guys and grab out some tongs here. Where are my good tongs? Where are my good tongs? Probably buried in this menagerie of crap over there. Let's see. Hey Lynn, what's going on? Strong's Adventures, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Shreveport, Louisiana. Meat looks properly marinated. Yeah, it's been velveting all day long. So I'm hoping that you do want to kind of get the red out of it. That is one thing you got to do. But I did velvet the meat, kind of like you would with Chinese food. I just didn't do it in like any kind of ginger or garlic. I just did it. I did it with that, and then a little baking soda and a little cream of tartar. Chicago in the house. What's up, Chicago? Good to see you guys. But yeah, just emailed Cynthia. Tell her it's Luisa's show. She'll be here. I'm using her pan too. I've got Cynthia's pan. I got Cynthia Wesley's pan that we're going to be boiling egg noodles in. So she might want to show up at some point. We'll get that going too. Lay that flatter. And if it's sticking, it's not done cooking. So I'll show up and talking about the tongs he has on. Yeah, exactly. Maybe I'm not wearing, maybe I don't have any tongs on. Oh, I missed a couple people. Missed a few people. Lots of folks showing up. Good, good, good. Let's see. Let's see how that one's looking back there. But yeah, it should be for a sirloin tip. This should be pretty tender. I generally have good luck. The longer you can leave it sit, up to about 24 hours. I don't recommend going over any more than 24 hours, but 24 hours is optimal. But like I said, I put it in at 2 o'clock almost exactly, because I'm right a little before 2 o'clock, because I know I went to the dairy at 2 o'clock. I left for the dairy because that's when my dairy opens up for milk sales. She's a what? A generous player. Oh, I got you. Roger that. I'm having to look across the other side of the room. Norman Flores, what's up? How are you? Good to see you. First time visiting. Looks good. Thank you so much. Hang out. Hang out. We're gonna make some beef stroganoff. Should be pretty good. It still needs a second. I want to find my other tongs though. I like my rubber top, my silicone top tongs, and they're usually sitting right there. And I don't know where the heck they are. That's really bugging me. So I don't like using my metal ones. That's really bugging me that they're not sitting right there. Let me look in this drawer right here. Maybe I accidentally messed up and put them in the drawer. I don't like using. I definitely do not like using. I like using silicone and wood in my cast iron. That's gonna bug me. Oh well. We are getting a little stick, but they're not. They're probably just not done yet. Yeah, that's bugging me to death. I can't find those things. And usually they're sitting right there. Holland in the house, really? That's cool. Very nice. No longer have been there. Okay, all right. Well, that's on you, man. That's, you know. Let's see, how much do people use cast iron in Europe? It's probably a lot. I know I've got one piece. One of my bunt pans is from Europe. It's from Germany, and I really like it. But yeah, that's really bothering me. I can't find those things. I wonder if they're in the stove itself. And I need to get an oven mitt. So, where are my oven mitts? Here's one. There we go. See how these are cooking. They might just not be. Yeah, they're cooked. But I haven't used this very often, so there's going to be a little bit to it. There we go. But that really bugs me. I can't find those tongs. They're usually sitting right in front of me, where they're supposed to be. Probably find them out in the garage where I was cooking. I was cooking in the garage yesterday. I made some chili out in the garage, so that might be where they ended up. But I don't want these sitting too long. I don't want these to over sear. But you don't want red in them either. But I don't want to shoe leather them like that. That's ridiculous. And normally, I don't have much problem with anything sticking. So we'll just give those a minute on that side, and then we'll put in the next round. Put a little more oil in there, some butter. I still have my old Drew. Oh, an old Drew. Oh, those are cool. It's retired due to flaking. Yeah. You know, and I told that to my kids too. Ralph Velasquez, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Yeah, I told my kids, you know, like with my Dutch ovens, I said, you know, if they start to flake, turn them into like a dishcloth holder or something like that. You don't have to, you know, or throw them away. One or the other. Le Creuset or not, or whatever brand they may be. Don't hang on to them if they're flaking, or turn them into something. You know, they make really good holders for like dish rags and stuff and utensils. They ran white. Boy, I'm missing all kinds of stuff. Lord, man, we must have all kinds of folks jumping in tonight. That's pretty cool. As I'm letting for the first time ever, my stuff's sticking. But that's what happens. I bet I've had this thing for probably 4 or 5 years, and I probably haven't used it 5 times. But I thought it'd be fun to break out, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, it just needed to get that initial, and it might not have been hot enough. And we'll scrape all that stuff will come up once I put the beef broth in and everything else. How that'll work. But that should be about enough. About a minute. There we go. Throw these in here. And then we'll get the next round in there. I'll drop a little bit more oil into that. These smell great though. Then we'll get the next round. That piece I might be eating. I think I'm gonna eat that piece. I only got a little done. Man, that really bugs me. I can't find that thing. Okay, give that another 30 seconds and let that go. And then we'll get the next round in there after we throw a little bit of oil in there. But I like to, when the oil's hot, and when the skillet's hot, I like to make sure that the oil that I pour in there is a little on the cooler side. Let's say here. So let's get some of this high octane oil in there. Get a nice little coat. And I'm guilty of that too, of not throwing enough oil in there. I try to like be conservative with my oil intake. And then I end up kind of screwing myself with everything. There we go. Yeah, it smells good. It smells really good. There we go. Throw some salt on there too. Put these last little pieces into there. It'll pop. It's like bacon almost. There we go. I'll put these down in there. Let's check the comments. Do I get in here? Sir G, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in the kitchen. And I did secure the guy at the dairy has a Pick with Favorite enamel piece, number 8, that he said that he could let me borrow. I think we ought to give that a day in court. I've never actually seen one in person, so I'm kind of interested to give it a try. So we'll have that to look forward to, an enameled Pick with Favorite ware to use for one of these here pretty soon. Let's see, is that skunk meat? Yes, it is skunk meat. Ohio Mike. Hey, another Ohio guy in here. Very cool. What part of Ohio are you in, Mike? Might even be just down the street. Val's Black Cats Rule, what's up? If I'd have been more prepared, we might have had rabbit meat. There was a couple cottontails in the backyard a little bit ago. The Beegs was all about that. Let's throw some salt and pepper on these things. There we go. Knock something off. Okay, there we go. We've had a second. I'm gonna throw a little garlic in there too. I've got some fresh garlic to throw in there, but I might as well throw a little garlic powder in there while I'm doing it. Let's see. Turtle, what's going on? Gunner Gaming, good to see you. Debbie Ann White. I'm from Holland, Ohio. Born and raised. But I live in, yeah, I know where Holland, Ohio is, up by Toledo. There we go. A little bit of garlic in there. Yeah, I know right where it is. Let's see. No, I'm just reading all the comments. Yes, indeed, I checked out a few already, specifically how to care four black cats and one are top line. Norman Harris, good to see you. Yeah, it's up by Toledo. I know exactly where it is. I used to go up that way all the time. All the time. Well, that side off. Let's flip this side over. There we go. Yeah, that meat's pretty tender. There, that's not sticking near as bad as that first round. That's popping up. I just didn't use enough oil. And the pan wasn't hot enough either. You gotta give your pans time to heat up for sure to get that real non-stick. And I just didn't do that. Really kind of jumped out. I was feeling like we were kind of taking too long after my soliloquy at the beginning of the stream. Put that back over. You want to make sure you get the bread out of these. That one needs a... There we go. Oh, some of these are looking really nice. Nice little sear. And there's good bits. You want to have the bits at the bottom. You don't want it to come up really clean because you want to have that kind of, we're making sort of a roux, I guess, at some point. Boy, but I hate using all this metal in these casts. I don't want to put a bunch of utensil marks into the piece. There we go. That little chunk, I must have had a chunk left over. There we go. Cool. Read some comments. There's 3 kids, Leesburg, Florida. Came back to Ohio. Let's see, bearded clam for me. Let's see. Fished. Let's see, not other clam varieties. Oh, I got you. Roger that. I started to miss Ohio. Then it hit 70 here and I don't miss Ohio anymore. Yeah, right? I was talking to somebody from Ohio today, or from Florida today, down by Cape Canaveral, and they were saying that it's going to be like, it's like 75 degrees there. Of course, I don't like the biblical heat of, I have a lot of relatives in Florida and in Texas, and they're always wanting me to move down there. And I'll deal with my 90 days of cold weather. I'll deal with the 90 days of cold weather to not have like hurricanes, insane tornadoes, flooding. I remember the first time I went to Texas, I got a lot of family that live in League City, Texas. And I went down there and I was like, why are the parks so deep? Why are they set down so far? And all their city parks were set down like way down really low. And I said, why is that? It was almost like drainage, and they were like drainage ditches. So like when it floods down there, they've got it set up to where all the water goes in and floods the parks, and it kind of stays there like swimming pools. So I mean, you know, you got to do what you got to deal with what you got to deal with. But so I still thought that was kind of, it was just different than what I was used to. We have drainage ditches around the fields. I remember one time I slid off the road. This has been about 10 10, 12, about 10 years ago, I slid off the road when I was living down in this part. I was living in a different part of Ohio. And what kind of meat cut is that? This is sirloin tip is what this is. And I went off the road and I went down in a drainage ditch and it was like 15 feet down. Okay, these are pretty cool for the most part. We'll take the dunner ones out. Thanks, Jeremy. It's smelling great, man. I say it, but the hurricanes are fun because they can be tragic for some, but if you get up high enough, you can prepare and have a party. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen people do that. Leftover roadkill. Yeah. Fuzz is the guy, and Fuzz Fork is the one I get all my roadkill from. He is a roadkill purveyor. See, that one's done. This one's done. That one's done. There we go. And then we'll set these off to the side and let them sort of rest. And we'll cut up our onions and whatever else we got to put in here. Yeah, that piece is good. And one little chunk that I had left over from the end. But yeah, back to the cut of meat. Primarily, you probably want to use like a top sirloin. You definitely want to use something like that. But like I said, I velveted all this all day in avocado oil, baking soda, and cream of tartar. And we're using a pound of that meat. And we'll kind of let that sort of chill out there. So it's basically like, it's like what it's kind of the consistency of what you would get at like a Chinese food restaurant, but without all the ginger and all that other stuff. Yeah, so like that. There we go. But we want to save the bits. We want the bits to sit in there. And that's about what we got, if you guys can see it now. That's about what we got left over. That's what we've made. And I'll turn that heat down just a little bit. I want to turn that back down to like a saute temperature. In between like 2 and 3. There we go. So that's what we got right there. So that's a fair amount. Let's see. I've been craving Chinese food for months, but it's always so expensive. Yeah, man. We go back and see some of the videos that I've done. I make really cheap Oriental food. And it's really good. I got all the tricks, all the tips, the hacks for that kind of stuff. So let's get back over here. We're going to get back to our list. And we're going to do some cutting up. Do some cutting up of stuff. While that sits over there, it'll be fine the way it is. There's the Valentine's decorations. I'm always prepared. Let's see. Harvey, what's up, buddy? Oh, you do recipes and stuff? I'm subbing. Thank you so much, Harvey. We're trying to get to 1,000, man. I'm really close to 1,000 right now. So subbing would be fantastic. So let me see here. So we've got the first step done, which is the beef and the oil, and now we're going to go to a couple tablespoons of butter. But we're going to dice up half of an onion real quick. We're going to get our garlic clove. I'm going to do my garlic clove first. Let me grab grab a small cutting board, put over top of that cutting board. And I did order some walrus oil today, so hopefully I can get that in. My cutting board is really dry. Nice big piece of garlic. Get that over there. Dump this. Check out some of the comments. Doing it with Charlie. Where did you get that cutting board? I love it. My uncle is a wood turner out in Colorado Springs, and about 10 years ago he made me that, and he made me this, and he made me the butcher block. There in the back you can see the match. So that's where I got it. Unfortunately, he doesn't do that anymore, because I have a lot of people. He actually made a huge table, one of those epoxy tables, for a friend of mine down in Florida, down in Treasure Island. And then right after that, he had some health problems, and then he stopped doing it. don't know why I'm doing this when I got this thing right here. Let's see. There we go. These things work great. I love these things. Way to go, Ma Badger. Take my glasses off. My glasses are for seeing back here. Let's see who I'd buy. Yeah, I know, man. I have so many people that ask me where I got that, and he used to have them listed on eBay. He used to just have tons of these things on eBay, and he had some health problems, and then I kind of lost, everybody in our family sort of lost track of him. And he doesn't, he just has sort of been to himself the last few years. But he used to have, like, I mean, there were dozens of these cutting boards on eBay, and that was before, like, really kind of before Etsy took off and Shopify took off. But he had tons of them, and they were reasonable. I think they were like, I don't know, they were like $100 maybe. And that's not bad for handmade, you know. And some of them he would do custom orders. Let's see, let me cut this onion up. Let me put my, let's see there. Let's see. Yeah, and whoever was asking about recipes earlier, yeah, the recipe for this is at the beginning. I'm really lazy, so I don't put it at the, in the description or anything, which I should, but I don't. Because I don't do like videos, I just do these live streams. Do some shorts, and every once in a blue moon I'll put a video together, but it's really not my bag, to be honest. I'd rather just do this like this, so people can see it in real time, as opposed to like videos where they're super edited, and then you might think that it takes like a half an hour to do something, and really it takes like an hour to do something. So it gives people a good idea on how long it takes to do these things, if that makes any sense at all. And you can definitely use fresh mushrooms. I'm just, like I said, I'm just getting rid of a lot of stuff that I had in the shelves and in the cupboard so I can redo. And I just didn't feel like going to the store this week, so I'm using canned. And Pennsylvania Dutch are pretty good mushrooms. I got no complaints with them. I don't understand the big deal with how I cut things. I really don't. I've never figured it out. And I've even watched videos like when Val said curl your fingers. And I've seen that, and I'm like, it's really about this. I don't see any difference in it. Let's see. I can't believe it. Like, we watched Cast Iron Chaos, and that guy's hands shake like a leaf. I've never seen any comments about that. This dude's still praying for me. Well, I'm pretty sure somebody's still praying for me. Yeah, I hope you are feeling better, Val. Good. That's so good. Hanover brand is awesome. As far as mushroom goes, yeah, I don't know if I've ever had. I don't know if we have that here, Handsome Stone. If you're talking about mushrooms, I really don't know if we do. Let me see if there's anything else that I need to throw in there before I do that. So we're gonna throw in the mushrooms. We'll bring you guys back over to this thing over here. Yeah, nurse is good. Nurse is good to have in. Yeah. Yeah, I've always said I should have married a nurse or a chiropractor. Let's see, so we'll throw our mushrooms in here. Oh, this is where the butter comes into play. So, got about a tablespoon and a half there. Turn that temperature back up just a little bit. I just didn't want it sitting there frying all that stuff that was in there. Turn that back to a reasonable level. And we'll throw just a little bit more in there. I can't remember, like I said, I can't remember if this is salted or unsalted butter. I got a feeling that if it's in the tray, then it's salted. Because usually I like that for toast, but I like to cook with unsalted butter. And definitely bake, but we'll scrape all those bits off the bottom. And we'll let that kind of calm down, the foam go away. Excuse me. Need to get a drink. But tonight will not be a Guinness night, I can tell you that. After last week, man. Ugh. Man, I'd marry an ugly chiropractor. I would too, man. Without even thinking about it. There we go. Let that quit foaming down a little bit. Get all that in there. Keep that at about 3. That's all we need to saute this stuff. That. Get out of there and scrape that bottom real good. I'd marry an ugly chiropractor. That's funny. That really is funny. But yeah, today's definitely not Thirsty Thursday. I had about last Thursday's live stream, I had about 4 Thirsty Thursdays at one time. I bet it smells nice, but man, it smells great, dude. Yeah, I did. I mean, I'm not even gonna say in case my mom's watching, I'm not even gonna say the amount of Guinness that I drank last week during the live stream, because it was just, it was ridiculous. So we're gonna do this for about 2 minutes with the mushroom, and then we'll throw the garlic in at the end for about a minute. Yeah, but it was like, yeah, it was totally ridiculous. There's no reason for it. But I'll tell you what, they were going down good. And I gotta be totally transparent. Newcastle, the one of the beers I was drinking last week, is my all-time favorite. I mean, Newcastles to me are, and these are drains, by the way. I drained these off. I'll throw these in the recycling bin. But yeah, those Newcastles were going down. And the big mistake I made was, not only did I get Guinness Stout, but I got the draft ones too, and the pint size. And I mean, they were going down smooth. And then pairing it up with the Newcastles for the half and halves, man, you want to talk about it was different. I could feel Thursday till Saturday. That was for sure. Heather was jealous. It's funny because I've been drinking Guinness and Heather's been drinking Coors. We've like flipped. We've sort of flipped. Man, Newcastle is my absolute favorite. If they said you had to be on an island with one beer the rest of your life, it would be Newcastle. Just cold enough to where it starts to sort of freeze up. Just when you crack the top, it gets like that kind of almost little bit of slush in there. Oh my gosh. And then you can let it sit, you know what I mean? Legend Brown. I've never had that. I would definitely be looking into it. I go through Guinness pretty quick. I was going through them like it was the last day they made them. Like I was taking the tour at St. James Gate. I'm not even joking. They were going. And this hits about 1 more minute. We'll start taking these. We'll add the garlic to this. And a tea. Let me see. Then we'll throw this somewhere around here. What did I do with it? Oh, I got a tablespoon of flour we're going to throw in. We're not really making a roux. We're just going to add it in there to making bread with brown ale. Man, you are my spirit animal. That sounds amazing. I never even thought to do that. Make beer bread with that. Gosh, what am I thinking? Fancy Belgian ale, not pale ale. I'm not picky when it comes to beer. If I like Pilsner Urquell. I like those. Stella's. I like Stella's. And there's not a whole heck of a lot of. The only beer that I don't like. One Great Lakes brand makes a 11.8 beer. It's something to do with the dragon, like the Black Dragon or something like that, or Green Dragon. I forget if that's what it's called. And I'm telling you what, man, that one You go through, that comes in, and Great Lakes beer comes in a 4-pack. And I'm telling you what, you get through that 4-pack on that black dragon or green dragon, whichever one it is, at 11.8, you know you've been there. Let's see, and there's our clove of garlic dropped in. I'm also going to throw in a little bit of chopped chive just to give it some color, because all my parsley's in the garage drying. I might have some dried parsley in here somewhere, but I don't feel like digging it out. So we're going to throw a little bit of the chopped chives in there with this. They're dehydrated as well. About that many. And we need to douse this with some pepper as well. Hit that with some pepper. Because I really need to get, man, where's my cracked pepper? I hate this pepper shaker. Hit that with some pepper. So that pepper shaker, I've got the grind of the pepper's too big for the pepper shaker. So it just sits there and like gives me like this dust. And it sucks. Beer investor, have you ever been to Europe? Prague is amazing for beer. No, I've never been to Europe. I've never been to Europe. There we go. So that stuff's cool right there. So where's our next thing? We're gonna slowly put in this. This is just all-purpose flour. No seasoned flour. We're just gonna throw that over the top. We don't have to make like a roux or anything with it. We're just gonna use that to thicken it up just a little bit. And dice that and kind of saute that around in there. I know you roux fans are like, oh man, you should make a roux. It'll be fine. It's totally cool. Totally cool. Let's see. Kind of move that around in here though, and kind of cook it out before I throw the broth in. I'm going to kind of get that in there and get it working. And then throw the broth in. Oh man, that's smelling good. Man, there's mushrooms and onions, I don't know. That's like it almost makes me want to take like some of this meat and make like a quick beef steak sandwich real quick. Kathy, what's going on? Good to see you. Ireland has the best beer. Yeah, I was definitely going through there. I was definitely given their Guinness stout and draft style, the one with the ball in the bottom. I was giving that definitely a day in court last week. So then we're gonna go ahead and get our beef broth into there. Deb Blood, what's up? How are you? Good to see you. We're gonna put a cup. Wow, is it a cup or 3/4 cup? Cup of beef broth. There we go. There we go. 1 cup of broth. There we go. Very cool. That's sitting in there nice. Yeah, it's coming along pretty good. I'm going to turn up my noodle water up just a little bit. And then, let's see, we've got to temper the sour cream. So we're going to throw, I don't have heavy cream, which is ideally what you'd want. But since I get my milk from the dairy, like basically my milk is like cow to bottle, glass bottle, so I'm not too worried about heavy cream. But it does, I will say this now, so if it does it beforehand, the dairy milk, fresh milk from a cow will tend to curdle a little bit easier than say the stuff you get at the store. Hey Arnold, what's up buddy? Isn't that a show? Yeah, it looks good so far, thank you. Let's see, so then we're going to do, let that cook just a second. And here's what I mean by dairy milk. My milk comes like that. I still get it like it's 1950. And like when I opened this today, this is no kidding, it had cream all the way down to here. And whenever I get to, I picked up a gallon today, and I brought this home. And this one had been sitting at the dairy for about 4 days, so it had all that cream at the top. And man, I cracked that and brought that in, and I tell you what, it's like cereal milk. It's so good. Even organic milk from the store, like in the red container, it just doesn't hold anything to like fresh dairy right out of the cow milk. Like I went out to the dairy today, and when I was leaving, the cows were up by the fence, and I had some Werther's Originals in the car. So I went over, I was petting the cows, and I was giving them Werther's Originals before I took off. It was funny. Yeah, glad to have everybody here tonight. We got some new faces, some people showing back up. That's awesome. Yeah, be careful, Val. Let's see, just give that another. That's pretty good. And if you guys notice, you can see in there, there's not any chunks of flour or anything like that. It's not sitting like in big clumps. So it's good. A lot of times people think you got to make a roux for all that stuff, and you really don't. You just got to give it some time. So let me get 3/4 of this creamy cow milk. I might actually drink this while I'm having my dinner tonight. I've had two juice glasses of the milk. It's just so good. Thanks, Adam. Good to see you, man. How are you? Yeah, so we'll pour this in kind of slowly. Kind of slow. You can see the cream dropping in there from the top. Yeah, it's awesome. It's the best coffee milk, man. I don't even put sugar in my coffee because it's just that good like that. Give that a stir. And we're gonna let that heat up for a couple minutes. I gotta get this water boiling in the back for the noodles. There we go. There we go. Let that get to like a little bit of a simmer. And I'm gonna move a couple things out of my way. There's some extra onions in there. Make sure there's nothing I'm forgetting, because I could be forgetting some things. Now we still have Worcestershire and mustard to throw in there, but I'm not gonna do that till the very end. So I'm just not gonna do it till the very end. So that's the order that it goes into. And now I will put the beef in here in just a minute, but I'm gonna take some of this sauce out once it all kind of heats up. And then I'm gonna temper the sour cream. And what I mean by that is we're gonna put the sour cream we're gonna put a 1/4 cup of the sour cream into one of the measuring cups, and then we're going to temper it so it doesn't curdle when it goes back in there. Cynthia, what's going on? What's going on? The cooking show. Waiting on you. And I'm using your pan. I got your Tefal right here in the back. That's what I'm going to be doing my noodles in. So you showed up just in time. Thanks for letting me use that. Appreciate it. So I made some beef and broccoli. Beef and broccoli, man, that sounds good. Like Asian style, or are you just going beef and broccoli? Either way is a great way. But let me get the sour cream out. Let me see here. Let me get a 1/4 cup. I'm gonna use this to do the sour cream, and we're gonna use the actual measuring cup. Except it doesn't go small enough for a 1/4 cup. I'll have to actually dig out a 1/4 cup. Give me a second, guys. Okay. All right, bust you guys over this way. Then you can see what the heck's going on. There we go. So we're over here with the measuring cup, and then we're gonna get a 1/4 cup of this sour cream into here. And I'll try to not do it and make a huge mess, but I doubt that's gonna happen. into this. Get this big scoop into this little cup. Can you guys see me okay? There we go. Okay, that water's starting to boil. And like I said, and it really helps to temper the sour cream. The milk's not so much going to do it, but the sour cream will definitely curdle in there. Make sure we got enough in there. A little extra isn't going to hurt this. There we go. Cool. All right, I'll take that. Still cleaning behind the company. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't realize you had a funeral. Maybe up north to where the lights were streaming. Yeah, I guess a lot of people have been able to see the northern lights for sure. Okay. Don't want that going too much. And then we're going to take, I'm going to put that in here. We're going to put that like that. I'm going to put my sour cream out of the way because I don't need any more of that. It might be nice though on the top. To be really honest. I might put a dollop back on there. And I don't need that anymore. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of the sauce, not much, and we're going to put that in there, and we're going to let that cook along with it so it warms it up. You guys see that okay? Sorry, my arm was in the way. But I'm actually gonna, almost like making creme fraiche, just diluting it down like you would kind of like for a taco. You don't want to use a whole lot. You just want to warm that up and add that sauce into there, like yay. And get it smooth. I could be really cool and bust out a whisk, but with the one skillet, it's kind of one skillet. I don't really count the noodle skillet because that only takes the noodle pan because that only takes a minute to clean up. But I try to make as few dishes as I possibly can. So you want to get that pretty thin. And then what we'll do is we're going to come back over this way without me knocking the stand over. And then we'll slowly fold that in. I'm going to turn that down just a little bit and slowly fold that in there. And hopefully that reduces down enough. Probably right, my arm's probably right in the way, but sorry, it is what it is. And this is where we're going to put the meat in there as well. And I am going to grab a whisk and whisk this up just a little bit. Move this out of the way, and we'll get a whisk. There we go. Toss that over here. Hopefully where it's not falling down into my way. I'll just whisk that in real nice. There we go. Move that down just a touch. Let's see. Strong's Adventure Fuzzy. They let me out of prison every day. Irene Korea, how are you? Good to see you. And there's some other folks I missed. I had my back to the comment section. Okay, so we got that good and it's not curdled up, which is what we wanted. And then we're going to add, see, I'm just going to use, like I said, we're just going to use regular mustard. And I'm going to use a half a tablespoon of mustard. About that that much. It's about a half tablespoon. And 1 tablespoon of the Worcestershire sauce. There we go. There we go. And we're going to stir that up. We're going to add our, once we get that stirred up, we'll put the meat back in there. Massachusetts here, what's going on? Heading up to Boston. Little drop kick, man. Okay, so there we go. We get that, once we get that mustard in there. Now, like I said, Dijon would be preferable, but you'll be all right. You'll be all right. It's just going to be a little more, it's going to add just a little more yellow color to it. There we go. Not curdled, and the sour cream didn't curdle, so that's pretty rad. Yeah, where is everybody? Some of you newer faces, where are you guys at? Kathy Doherty. Hello, Kathy. Throw our meat into here. There we go. Stick that into there. I think that's everything I need. I think that's everything I need. I am going to try a piece of this meat, though. Spit my gum out. That's not bad. Not bad at all. And we're going to let that kind of hang out in there and just get rehydrated, warm back up. It's rested a little bit too long, but that's going to happen when you're sitting there talking while you're, instead of just taking care of business while you're talking. But there we go. There we go. There, that looks pretty good. And that beef tastes really good. Tri-tip's still a little bit chewier than what you'd want, like if you had a different, you know, what you're actually supposed to use, like a top sirloin, but I'll live with it. And if I had like all night, I just let it sit in here and marinate for the next half hour or so. But for the sake of time, we're not going to do that. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to throw these noodles in. And we'll get our noodles going. Let's see. Just checking the comment section here. Yeah, man, it's smelling great. That is absolutely smelling amazing. So we're going to get our, go back here, throw the noodles in. Because we're like rounding third and heading for home with this. That sour cream is good. I almost feel like putting more sour cream in it. I'm going to put more sour cream on it when I take it out. So water's boiling really well. I don't need it going that high. Don't need it going that crazy. And we'll get a little salt. We'll put some salt into there. There we go. About that much. There we go. And stir in our noodles. Let's see. I'll be dipping my white bread in that sauce right about now. Yeah, I'm telling you what. Eight ounces of noodles for 9 minutes. There we go. Get an actual wood spoon. There we go. There we are. Perfect. I will take that. Keep stirring this over here. And I'm going to clear off my spot just a little bit over here so I can stir it. Let me see. That's a real pot. Yeah, it is. I like that handle too. Not everybody can pull off having a handle like Doofus, but I think you're doing a really good job of it. Oh, don't boil on me. That's what the wood spoon's supposed to do. You're defying science right now. Don't defy science. Quit defying science. You're like that A3 Atlas. Yeah, it's gonna do it, isn't it? Normally if I do this, it never does it. You leave that spoon over top of it and it doesn't do it. But if I'm saying it, it's gonna do it all day. The whole time. I'm gonna have to sit here and stir that off. Screw around with it. You're not supposed to be doing that. You're supposed to be sitting there nice. The burner doesn't want to play ball. Burner got hot. It's been sitting there. This burner's been running for an hour though. I can't. Gotta let it kind of regulate itself down. It was boiling good, so that's all that matters. Oh, come on now. If I could get away from it for 5 seconds, I'd throw a little butter in there and that would calm it down a little bit too. That thing is not wanting to. I'm gonna drop it. I'm gonna drop the heat on that all the way off for just a second. Because that's heaters. That electric stove's been on for an hour. And it's just burning nice hot. I don't want this. I need to keep stirring this gravy over here. Keep that going. But I don't want it to cool too much. There, it's kind of, the reds went away. Crank that back up. That's where I wanted it, right about there. To where that little trick works. Let's see, I bought 6 Lodge bread loaf pans. The bread falls right out when they bake. Oh yeah, they're awesome. Let's see, living up to my name. That's funny. Wood spoons are beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, there's usually, yeah, I just wanted that boil to be about right there, but that burner's been just like rocking for the past hour straight. So it just needed to kick off for a second and regulate itself down, or it was never going to not do that. And I want to throw just a touch of butter into there too. I have somewhere around here I got a knife that'll work for that. Butter them noodles up just a smidge, not much, just a little bit in there. There we go. And move my stuff in. I wanted to get the stuff moved out of the way so we can actually plate this up here when it's done. There we go. Grab myself a plate down. There we go. There we are. And I can actually read the comments here for a second. I hear click. No, nope. I don't know where she is. I don't know where the beagle is. She's somewhere. Come over here and we'll check this out over here for a minute. There we go. Stir that stuff into there. I just splashed a big bunch. There we go. There we go. That's looking really good. I think that's going to need a big old dop of sour cream though on the top when I'm done. By the time I'm done messing with it. It's definitely going to need that. Get my stuff out of the way. Get myself something to drink. Because my kitchen went from 60 to about 80. Thanks, Greg. Yeah, it's smelling great, man. Is the big sleeping? I don't know where she is. She was just, she's been under my feet like all day when I was home. And then she has been, I don't know. I got music on in the other room. Sometimes when I turn the radio on in the other room, she goes to sleep. But yeah, I'm just making myself something to drink here right quick. And we'll get that going. The noodles are looking good and smelling good. I'm gonna throw some salt. I'm gonna throw a little bit more salt into that because I couldn't really see what I was doing with all the steam going up, and I'm trying not to have the overhead fan on Try not to have the overhead fan going so you guys can actually hear what I'm saying. Even though it's not going to be anything important, I'm just talking. Just more pepper into that water. There we go. Let's see. Cute dogs, Kathy. What do you? Oh, little Shih Tzus. Yeah, they're funny. I like those. I'm a little. I used to be like a big dog person. And then for the longest time, I had a little Pomeranian type dog, but it was kind of a mutt Pomeranian. It wasn't like anything purebred. Mr. Puffington, and Puffington was awesome. Like he was absolutely awesome. And ever since then and then I got the Beagle, and the Beagle's pretty small. She's like 20 pounds, I think, 19 pounds. She's pretty little. They're just a little more spunky, you know? Like they're more spunky than a bigger dog, and I think I think it's kind of a cool little trait for them to have. Let's see, give that a mix. That's looking really good, man. I'm really happy with that. Super happy with that. I can't wait to dish it up. I got about 2 minutes, and we're gonna be able to dish this up. Get down to brass tacks. What time is it? So we did all this in an hour and 15 minutes while we were just like, and there was very little prep. Like there's no prep to this other than I cut the meat up and I velveted the meat down. Because it's still a little on the tough side, I'll be really honest. But if I wouldn't have velveted that meat for a sirloin tip, that would have been shoe leather. But it's actually it's not terrible. But I would highly recommend like top sirloin or something else. And you can even use ground beef with this. You know, some regular old 80-20, which I thought about doing too. But I was convinced though I had a top sirloin in the freezer, and I didn't. I had this one. I had the sirloin tip. Yeah, there we go. Noodles are coming along. Well, that's one to jump right up there. But anyway, that's where we're at. It is so simple, man, but it's so good. So good. I love beef stroganoff. But it's something you never think about making. And it's super easy. I mean, the meat was like, when I read the label today, because I wanted to see I couldn't remember what the price of that was. And it was like $5.99 a pound for like a 2-pound roast or 2-pound tip steak. And you know, whatever I put in there is a couple cans of mushrooms, half of an onion, salt and pepper. Yeah, it's rocking. Egg noodles. Fairly inexpensive, now that I think about it. I'm actually gonna turn that off. Let that kind of sit and put it on simmer, because I'll throw the lid on it here, but I've got, go ahead and test one of the noodles and see how the noodles are. But I'd say the noodles are sort of they're probably good to go. That was 9 minutes, I think I put those on. So they should be pretty close. I'll give them another minute. I like noodles a little softer than these are. So we'll just give it another, I'll go 2 minutes. We'll say 11 minutes for that. Just keep stirring it. There we go. Check out the comment section. Beef stroke me off. Yeah, right. They're pretty versatile. Hey Juan, welcome. What's going on, Juan? Good to see you. Yeah, I was surprised the last stream, all the people we had from Mexico. That was kind of cool. Usually we don't. That's like, we hit so many places all around the world, but Mexico's usually not one of them. So that was pretty cool. We had folks from Mexico popping in and saying what's up. That was really cool. At least I thought so. Yeah. These noodles. Noodles are about done. Everyone hit the thumbs up. Yeah, double tap the screen while we're here. Yeah, tequila. I love tequila. I'm more of a mezcal guy than I am a tequila guy. I'm a big fan of mezcal. I like the little salt packets that come with mezcal. I know that sounds really stupid, but I really do like the mezcal that come, or the salt that comes in. It's a little spicier. It's a lot spicier than, say, like your regular margarita salt. I used to, man, there for a long time, I wanted to retire in Mexico. That was like one of the places. I've been looking for places to retire. Like, I want to keep a house here, keep the place here, but I also want to have, Ukraine was one, and now that's shot. Yeah, one. Yeah, I hope you do too, man. But yeah, and then I was actually recently looking at houses in Shetland, Scotland. But that's it, man. You can start getting into a place it's really remote, which would be really cool to live in. But I garden, so I have to get used to the gardening there. You got to get, when you're over like in that part of the UK and Scotland and all that, Ireland, you got to have like poly tents. You got to get used to poly tent gardening. Instead of like here, I got like 7. I basically, here where I live in the Great Lakes region, you know, and I'm about 2 hours south of Lake Erie, I literally have like 7 seasons to grow. When you start getting into places like, you know, England and places like that where it's not as sunny. It's like even moving to Florida. Like if I moved to Florida, it would be rough because it's just, you know. Yeah, that was the thing about Shetland is that like with moving to Scotland, that part of it, I mean, it's real. You're basically getting everything. I mean, I'm pretty self-reliant, but I don't know if I want to be that self-reliant. That's almost Amish. I mean, I like having my garden and I like doing all that kind of stuff, but I don't really want to get like, I don't know if I want to get that far into it. Hey, Nikki, what's going on? What you making? I'm in Wisconsin. I'm making beef stroganoff, Nikki. Thanks for showing up. I love the unkind poop and courage. Thanks, mother. Luis and cast iron chaos. Yeah, man, I'm glad to do it. You know, and like I said, I've said it a million times. When I first started doing YouTube, I'd never thought about doing cooking. I was gonna do a little bit of cast iron history and care, and try and sell some cans of my cast iron cure, cast iron seasoning and conditioner, available on eBay. Just sold 2 cans before we came on tonight, which is really good. So if Greg, who bought some tonight, is in the audience tonight, thank you so much for picking up 2 cans of this before I went on there. Like I said, available on eBay, handmade by me. I even put the stickers on and put it in the mailboxes. 6 years and 100% good reviews. So let me drain off these noodles and all that. Watch out, Beagle. Oh, there's the Beagle. There she is. Here, get back. Go back to your spot so I can. There she is. She's down there looking for something. She'll get something here in a minute. Plus, I was at the butcher shop today and I got her liver treats. So, let's see. Everything is expensive. Everything's expensive. Yeah, everything's expensive. Doesn't matter where you go anymore. But yeah, I just don't want to be. I just don't know. Shetland's cool, but I just don't think I could be that remote. Because, like I said, I don't mind like. How do I want to say it? I don't mind like being self-reliant, but I don't want to have to sit and like, you know, I don't want to be sitting there whittling my furniture out of driftwood. You know what I mean? I just don't want to do that at this stage in the game, or at any stage in the game. You know, it'd be one thing to like kind of make myself a nice, like some shelves or a table or something, but I don't want to be whittling out chairs and that kind of stuff. Or waiting weeks to get car parts. Start this stuff down. I feel like I'm forgetting something. I really do, and I don't know why. So let's just dish this up. That's a lot of noodles, but I'll be alright. It'll be okay. So then, bring this pan over, and we'll give that another spin. Let me give this another stir. I wasn't stirring it right before we got on here. Yeah, I just feel like I'm forgetting something with this. And I shouldn't be. And I am going to plop a little bit of sour cream on the top of that. That is a lot of noodles though. I don't think I'm going to need all those noodles. There we go. I didn't get any my bread out of the. I got all those loaves of sourdough bread I made in the freezer, and I can't get to the freezer because I was rearranging the garage again, and I've got to put all that Lodge cast iron out there, and I've got my freezer covered up with all kinds of stuff. There we go. There's that. Seems like I didn't get a lot of mushrooms in there. Put some more of that stuff in there. There we go. I didn't get a lot of the sauce. That's what I'm missing. Is the sauce. There we go. And I'm going to put a dollop of sour cream in there on top of there too. And we'll get that. We'll do that thing. Top it up right. Watch out, Beagle. There you go. A little bit of dollop on there of that. And a little bit of these chives on there too, just to give it a little bit of, just for that look. There we go. And there we go. There it is. Beef stroganoff. I'll take that. Let's see. I can hear Puppy dancing on down there. Now the food is on. Yeah, 100%. She's down here. I'm gonna actually give her. Let's give her some. Let that cool off for a second, and I'll give her something to do because she's like right under my feet wanting something. And I don't blame her. It's probably smelling good. It's smelling really good in here. So we'll give her something to eat. Give her a nice piece of liver. This has got a lot of onions in it. I don't know if she can have that. I would totally eat that. Yeah, man, it's smelling. I can't wait to get some. Man, she's all excited now. She sees her liver treat. And she gets real liver. It's not like a liver treat, like some stuff from the dog food store. There we go. Can I get a spin? There you go. The only thing free in Houston is a bubblegum sucker in the movie theaters. There you go. Here, can you sit? Oh, you're still eating. We'll put this back in her dish so I can get to my stuff. Well, she ate all that. Can you speak? Can you speak? Speak's my favorite. Speak. 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 You can do better than that. There you go. Let my stuff cool down anyway. I'm letting my stuff cool down anyway. Yeah, she's best, man. She's awesome. We're in Searing, Stewart Island visiting my grandparents and would buy water gallon jugs because the water was so nasty. My said no, won't ever bottle water is too expensive. Can I get a spin? Can I get a spin? There you go. There you go. Cool. Alright, I'll throw this other one in there. I'm going to get my stuff. Give her that to do. But mine will go back over to here and we're going to give that a try. Because I'm hungry. I haven't had anything since breakfast, so I'm ready to. Other than that bagel. And not the beagle. I had a bagel. Wash my hands after handling that. Did you already eat that other piece? She's a Pete's piggy jaws. You act like you haven't eaten it. And this dog's had so much of this liver today since I've come home from the butcher, but she hasn't touched her food all day. She's like, nah, I'll just take liver all day. So she can mess with that. Anyway, let's give this a try. I'm hungry. And give this a go. Oh yeah, that looks good. Mmm. Mmm. Yeah, that's good. And that beef the beef turned out really good. It's not super chewy. It's real tender. It's nice. It's got a good flavor to it. Oh yeah, I dig on that. Just try some of it on its own. Yeah, good. Yeah, William, thanks for showing up, buddy. Got to mop up spaghetti sauce? Oh man, that sucks. But yeah, this turned out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, it's nice. I really do dig that. But yeah, not bad for throwing this in. It's exactly an hour and a half. I do wish I would have got some bread out of the freezer though. But I'm absolutely famished, so I'll live without the bread. I will say this: that velveting, the beef really does work. If you have like if you have you know, like a tough cut like that, like the sirloin tip, definitely some oil, a little baking soda, and some cream of tartar. It definitely does it. Thanks so much for stopping in, Nikki. Thanks to everybody for showing up. Actually, I mean, I really appreciate it. We had a really good crowd tonight. People hung in there. Yeah, we did great. And everything turned out really good. I'm really happy with everything tonight. The Stroganoff is good. What's up, Blood Fart? How are you? Yeah, Kathy, we'll see you guys. And and thanks to everybody for showing up. We're going to go ahead. Everybody seems to be rolling out, so we're going to let everybody roll on out. And thanks Nikki for showing up. Fuzzfork8, as always. Rick, thanks for moderating. Greg, thanks for moderating. Blood, thanks for stopping in. Bob the Builder, what's up, buddy? You must have snuck in when I wasn't looking. Kathy, thank you so much for showing up. It's good to see everybody. And we'll get the Beagle to do one spin for a noodle, and we'll get everybody on out of here. And I'll finish my dinner. Are you ready, Beagle? All right. See you, Val. Give me a spin. There you go. Good dog. Good girl. All right. I will see you Sunday at 11 a.m. in the comments section. Everybody have a good and safe night, and thank you everybody for showing up. I really appreciate it. Maybe we can get to 70. Maybe we should get to 70 before I go. Can we get to 70 likes before we get out of here? That'd be pretty cool. 69. Can we hit 70? Can we hit 70? Back at you, Blood. We'll see you, buddy. We'll see you. All right, we hit 70. All right, guys. We'll see you Sunday in the comments section. All right. Lisa Harris. Oh, that's okay. You can watch the replay. And definitely join us Sunday morning, 11 o'clock Eastern time. I don't know what we're making yet, but I'm sure it'll be pretty good. All right. We'll see you. We'll catch you guys again in the comments section. All right. See you.